Hello everyone. In this video we are going to cover our next topic, which is time complexity. In a previous video we have covered introduction part, that how we have to start competitive programming, what are the necessary codes, short forms and all that we should know while doing competitive programming. In this video we will be covering the time complexity and how it is used in the competitive programming. So basically, time complexity is the time taken by your algorithm. See, algorithm can be made, but the code is good or not. It depends whether that is fast algorithm or a slow algorithm, right? So time complexity of an algorithm estimates how much time the algorithm will use for some inputs, and you can take an example. Suppose you are given a few numbers as an input. You are given the same numbers. We are giving 2 2 2 2 to 4 times, and you have to find the sum of all these numbers. So then you can use first thing, that you can add these as usual it is done in your code, like this. Or as you know, these number will be same, it's given in the input. So what you can do, you can just multiply how many numbers are present there, right? So 4. So which algorithm will be faster? Absolutely this will be faster, because we will getting this in a easy way. Okay, so this is what the time complexity. Okay, so what are the calculation rules of this? So basically, time complexity of an algorithm is denoted by O, and in bracket we write how many loops we are means in bracket it is related to loops. Okay, and that denotes that how much time will be taken, where the three dots represent the some function. Okay, and suppose we are having a loop, right? So because time complexity basically starts from the loop. If you are writing a simple program, it will be not that much taking, it will not take that much time. Okay, so suppose you have written this loop, and in which your I is going from 1 to n, then your time complexity will be written as O and in bracket n, right? So this is what, here you write how many times the loop is iterating, right? And in this, see, you are having a loop, and inside that loop you are having another loop. Means if the loop is going iterating n times, then inside that there is another loop which will iterate n times, right? So basically, how many times this code will iterate, that is n into n times, right? So what will be the time complexity? O n into n is your n square, right? So as the number inside this will increase, the time taken by the code to process the input will increase, and if that becomes too much, then it can give you TLE, that is time limit exceed. Okay, so this is about the two loops. Then order of magnitude. What is order of magnitude? Let's study that. Basically, time complexity does not tell us that exactly how many times the loop has executed, but it just tell that what is the order of magnitude. Means how much possible times it can be executed. So see here, you are given this code where it is 3n. So for this, if I say that write the time complexity, so according to the previous knowledge that we have studied, so you will write 3 into n, right? For this, what you will write? N plus 5, right? And here you will write n. But in reality, the time complexity for each code is O bracket in bracket n, right? So their time complexity is not like that 3 into n. So what is order of magnitude? See here, you are getting you are using I from 1, and it's going from 3 into n. You are not iterating from all the numbers like 2, means those you are only iterating through the multiples of n. But that doesn't mean that the time complexity will be less, it will be n only. Okay, in this case also. So basically, time complexity is the order of magnitude is लगभग कितना होगा, that is type. Okay, so as another example of the time complexity of the following code is n square. So see here, you are having this loop which is going till n, and you are having this in a loop inside it, nested loop, which is starting from I plus 1, which is not going till means which is not totally iterating till n, means n you have inside which is not n, it is less than n. Okay, but then also its time complexity will be O n square, right? So this is basically the order of magnitude that gives you that what is the maximum possible value that you can go, or the you can say that what is the order, means it's related to that equivalent, how much it equivalent to n square. Okay, so now next is phases. What is phases? So basically if you are writing your code and you are writing many loops in it, so basically the time complexity will be the longest time which is taking the loop which is taking the longest time, which is this. It's taking your on square, it's taking your on, and it's taking your 1. Now which is larger? And okay, this one is larger, so that's why the time complexity of this whole program will be your on square, right? So what we call this consists of the 3 phases with time complexity on square on, and thus the total time complexity is on square, right? So the function so the loop which is taking much time, more time, will be taken as the will be considered in the time complexity. Okay, if you are using several variables, then means till now we are iterating I till n and j till n, but now if you are using n here and m here, same case, n is looping m times, means how many times it is iterating? N into m times, so the time complexity will be O bracket n into m, right? And in case you are having a third loop also inside it which is iterating till k times, then it will becomes n m k, right? After this we have recursion. Recursion is basically similar to the loop, that is we are calling the function inside a function many times, right? So how can we find the time complexity of these type of function? So basically this depends, because we don't know how many times we are calling this function, so it depends on the function, that how many times the function is called, and that's why the time complexity cannot be found very easily of the recursion function. We should know that how many times it has been called. So if the function is called n times, then the time complexity will be on. If the function is called only one time, single, so that is O1, right? So here you are here this is another example, void get int n equals to 1 written. This is also recursion, but here what you see, here we are calling the function only single time, here we are calling the function twice, 2 times. So what will happen here, because we are calling the function twice here, so in this case the we have to find the time complexity in a different manner. Okay, here we are calling till we do not get the 1, right, and we are calling 2 times. Okay, so suppose we having this gn, so we are having this gn, so it will be called 1 when we call this in function, then that will call gn minus 1 inside this function twice, so it's called gn minus 1. So first a code, somewhere a code is written, from there it will get called gn, then this will execute, this will call again gn, okay, this will call again gn minus 1, then this function will again run inside that function, then the first line will come gn minus 1, that will be n minus 2 for this, so that first line then again get executed, and in this way only the first line will get executed until it will not become equals to 1, and then we will come to this next line, right? So this is first gn, then gn minus 1, then gn minus 2 till g1. So this will be called single, then this will be called, then this will be called, and once all the first line will be called and we will get n equals to 1, then what will happen? Then the second line will be called, and then again the second line will call here, and if this called here, then again it will call gn minus 2, and again the second line which will be here, right? So in this way, then again this will again call, and in this way that what you will say that a continuous calling will be happen. Gn will be called once from here, n minus will be called twice. This function will call gn minus 1, this is first time, and then again second time. Then these will call, means a table like structure will be formed, and this will call 4 times until gn1. So as we will reach to g1, means n equals to 1, we have this much times of call. Okay, so based on this, time complexity is basically the number of times the function has been called. So if we do the sum, we will get what? 2 raised to power n minus 1. But what I said, we do not take such numbers because we take order of magnitude in time complexity. So what will be the time complexity? O 2 raised to power n. Okay, then what are the complexity classes? Basically, depending on the types of loops and how we are how many functions, what are the operation we are doing, we have made these complexity classes, in which we have already decided the time complexity of few functions which we use in a code, right? So let's start with O1. Okay, means we are going only once in the code. So the running time of a constant time algorithm does not depend on the input size, and this is basically when you are not having any loop, you are just doing a simple process, and that's it. Okay, so this is O1. Or you are having a loop which is only iterating once, so that will also give the time complexity as O1. Now O log n, basically this is the time complexity, and these are arranged in increasing order, so that will also easy to understand. So in logarithmic algorithm, what happens if you are writing a loop in which you halves the input size, means you have started from 10, and then in second step you are in second step that become 5, and then 2.5, means you are iterating, but you're not iterating to all those that 10, 9, 8, but you are halving the input size in each step, then that will comes in log n. So running time of such algorithm is a logarithmic, because log 2n equals to the number of times and must be divided by 2 to get 1. So it's difficult to understand, but simply if you understand, if you know why log base 2n, what is the meaning of this, then you could understand what is written here. Okay, let me give you an example. Suppose we are writing log 2 base 2 and 32. So what is the answer? Answer is 5. The same happens with the loop. Actually what I'm explaining is, if you're taking input as a 32, in the next step what you are going, you are halving it to it, then it will become what? 16. In the next step it will become 4, and in next step it will become 2, and then 1, right? So 1 2 3 4. So this is what? Okay, 32 1 30, for 32 it will run, for 16 it will run, for 4 it will run, for 2 it will run, and for 1 it will run. So how many times? Only 5 times it will run. So basically we are taking input 32, but the code the loop is running only 5 times. That's why this is your log n logarithmic algorithm. And it happens when you find the GCD or something which do not need to iterate through all our numbers. Okay, so this is your log n time, that is logarithmic times. Now The third one is your square root algorithm. So what is the square root algorithm? It's slower than log n, as I'm saying that these are in increasing order. Slower here means that it will take more time than this. So this is the most wanted, means if you will make the code which is having this complexity, your code is well and good. Okay, so this is the increasing order. So this is slower than, means it will take more time to process the code. So the square root algorithm is slower than this, but it's faster than this, and that's very common. Okay, a special property of square root is that, okay, so here what they're saying, that under root of n can be written as n divided by root n. So the square root n lies in some sense in the middle of input. So it means what, you are you are using a loop or anything else, whatever you are doing in program, but it is taking the time which is more than the logarithmic time, but it is less than your on time. Okay, so this is what the linear time. So you are iterating through the loop, or you are increasing in another way the value of I. So in that case the square root algorithm is used. The another is on, which is very common, I already explained. Then the next one is n log n. Okay, this can be happen if you are using a for loop, right, which is iterating till n, and inside that you are using a for loop in which you are having the element, so that will take your log n time, right? Since these two for loops are executing at the same time, they are nested, so what will be the total time complexity? N into log of n, right? So this is what the O n log n. Then n square, a loop which is iterating till n, and there is another loop inside it, nested loop, which is iterating to till n, that will be your on square. This is your quadratic algorithm. Similarly, cubic algorithm, if you are having another nested loop, 3 loops inside that at the time, it will be your on cube. Then you are having 2 raised to power n, and I have taken the example earlier which was of this function, right? So here, so if you are iterating through the subset, all the subsets of the input element, or through a function which is called twice in itself, that is recursion. So in those all cases, your time complexity will be what? Or 2 raised to power n. And then you are having n factorial, time complexity O n factorial. And this time complexity is basically when you go for all the permutations, means the algorithm iterates through all the permutations of the input elements. You're given a set and you are going through all the permutation that are possible, that is this. Since see here the input is basically what? Input is 3 numbers only, right? So but for these 3 numbers you are going through this set. So these are basically what? 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6, that is 3 factorial, right? 3 into 2. So basically when you go through all the permutations of the set, then at that time your time complexity is O n factorial. When you go for all the subsets, then at the time the time complexity is 2 raised to power n, or you go through the recursion function which is calling twice the function itself, right? And in this way these are the time complexity, and these are in the increasing order, means it will take more time than इससे ज़्यादा ये time लेगा, and then this and like this. So this is basically time complexity, right? And okay, so the last is your polynomial. So the algorithm is polynomial if the time complexity is at most O n raised to power k, where k is a constant, and all the time complexity which are given here are basically polynomial except 2 raised to power n and n factorial. These are not polynomial, all others are polynomial. See, n raised to power 3, n raised to power 2, and here n raised to power 1 by 2, right? So these are polynomial. Okay, and basically k is not that much big, it's usually small, and therefore polynomial time complexity roughly means that algorithm is efficient. Okay, so to this I end this video. We will meet in the next video and we will continue this topic, that is a time complexity, by this estimating efficiency. How can you estimate the efficiency of program? Thank you.